How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Shockingly, Bitcoin white paper has been hidden from inside Mac computers for years. Over 14 years ago, on October 31st, 2008, an anonymous individual or entity called Satoshi Nakamoto published a revolutionary white paper, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. In a stunning discovery, the tech blogger Andy Bio has discovered that a copy of the groundbreaking BTC white paper has been hiding within Apple Mac devices for years. A PDF of the Bitcoin white paper has apparently been shipped with every copy of macOS since 2018. Bio said he came across the device named Virtual Scanner 2 that he had never seen before while just trying to fix his printer. This device stores Satoshi's vision within the image capture utility. When the technologists changed the media format from photo to document, the white paper appeared. In order to see the white paper, Mac OS users can open the terminal on their computers and type in the following commands on the terminal. So if you would like, you could enter this command, and you can get your own Bitcoin white paper if you have a 2018 or newer Mac. U.S. Treasury seeks stricter regulations on DeFi used for illegal proceeds. According to a statement issued by the United States of the Treasury on Thursday, decentralized finance has become the epicenter of North Korean hackers, ransomware attackers, thieves, and scammers as they try to use it to transfer and launder proceeds to their illegal activities. According to the observations of a new illicit finance risk assessment on DeFi conducted by the Treasury, criminals are taking advantage of loopholes in U.S. and international anti-money laundering and terrorism financing regulation and enforcement, as well as in the technology that is being used to support financial services. So they're exploiting things behind the scenes. The Treasury's Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, Brian Nelson, was quoted saying, "Our assessment funds that illicit actors, including criminals, scammers, and North Korean cyber actors, are using DeFi services in the process of laundering illicit funds." The report recommends that U.S. government tighten its AML, CFT regulatory oversight and take into consideration offering more guidance for the private sector and compliance checks for DeFi services. But the report also said that hackers love cash more than they love Bitcoin, so it's not as prevalent as cash is still, or fiat. Lawyers claim Shaq is hiding from FTX lawsuit, seek alternative method to serve him. A law firm trying to serve Shaquille O'Neal with papers in a lawsuit involving FTX is seeking alternative methods soon, saying its cat and mouse game with one of the NBA's biggest personalities has gone on for too long. O'Neal was named a defendant alongside other celebrities in a class action lawsuit filed last November in the Florida Federal District Court. It alleges that O'Neal and others such as Tom Brady, Larry David, actively participated and offered the sale of unregistered securities by promoting FTX. I believe BitBoy is in that lawsuit as well. After multiple attempts were made to serve O'Neal with papers in person over the last few months, Adam Makowitz, one of the lawyers representing FTX investor Edwin Garrison in the lawsuit, told Decrypt his firm will seek to do substituted service tomorrow. So starting tomorrow, they're going to look for alternative ways to serve Shaq. The method of delivering court papers is reserved for circumstances where defendants can't be reached personally or practically, allowing a complaint to be sent to a defendant's personal address instead. Alternatively, court papers can be served via NFT based on another Florida court proceeding that we covered about 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. Makowitz said that the service companies have tried to find O'Neal at various locations over the course of their efforts to deliver the lawsuit's complaint, including his NBA studio, a home, and places he's done promotions. When O'Neal shared that he was recovering from hip replacement surgery on social media 3 days ago, an attempt to serve O'Neal in his Orlando residence was stifled after a process server told him that O'Neal had already fled to the Bahamas by security personnel at the home's front, Makowitz claimed. Due to O'Neal's alleged evasiveness so far, the lawsuit has been unable to proceed, and O'Neal is the remaining defendant to be served, which was described in an email sent by Makowitz and his lawyer as an attempt to draw out the proceedings or avoid answering for their allegations. Makowitz told Decrypt he believes O'Neal is the lawsuit's worst offender for saying he was all in on FTX, and then subsequently telling CNBC reporters he doesn't understand crypto and probably will stay away from it following the exchange's collapse. So this is why you don't want to follow some random big influencer in the NBA, because they don't know charts and they don't know the technology. They're just promoting something for some payout. Over on the daily, we have a hangman candle here forming just after getting this doji candle, and we're getting a bit of a round here. So some bearish signals here. We're getting a red dot following our green dot that we had the other day. I don't know why we don't get that line. Sorry for those of you that like the finger. I like this line to be able to kind of line up everything at once in one visual swoop. But we have that green dot from yesterday, and we're following it by a red dot. So this red dot could invalidate the green dot. We'll have to wait for it to confirm soon. Money flow's trying to recover, but VWAP's rejecting. Momentum's coming down with that red dot. RSI's gone flat, and our stochastic is pretty oversold right now. So our stochastic's really weak, and our RSI isn't gaining any ground and is somewhat starting to curl. Over on the 4 hour, we have a red dot here on the momentum wave, invalidating a green dot from this last candle. So we could lose here on the 4 hour. The money flow index is peaking into the red zone, so if this continues and it continues to break, we could be set up for some bearish momentum, as when you get a strong cross in the 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour, that's usually when we see some significant downside, and we do have that CME gap to fill. Stochastic's overall trying to recover. It's making a little bit of a head up, but it's getting really tight. We'd want to see it spread more apart. That way you know it has a little more strength to run up. RSI is kind of losing ground, going flat here. Momentum's got that red dot like I said, and our VWAP's nowhere to be found. So overall I'd say we look indecisive at best. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic's getting really close to a bearish cross. Like I said, you don't want to see it that close together. RSI is somewhat still flat. Money flow is in the red. It is trying to curl up currently. Our momentum was curling away, but it could try to come back up. We'll have to see if we can get a decent push from here. However, we are inside of a descending channel, so we could just go up, down for a little while, and then maybe get a little bit of a pop off and retest this resistance, or come up and retest this point control area if we reject further from it, maybe down around here. Like come back down to around this 27.2, just inch our way down there, and then come back up, test this point control, and then if we manage to get above that point control, we could get some bullish momentum. Or if we break from here, it's likely we could test this support, and then if we manage to break through these areas, it would be likely we could hit that 30k. But if we manage to reject from this point control and continue to fall from it, it's likely we could see lower. Money flow overall is coming out, so that has me a little concerned. Over on the 1 hour, if we look, we had a red dot. We are getting a green dot on our momentum, so that is trying to invalidate that red dot. So the 1 hour is giving us that little hope to break out of this channel sooner rather than later, so that could give us that early breakout I just mentioned. Stochastic's trying to head up, RSI is trying to curl. VWAP, it can't really be seen right now. If we zoom in, you can see it cross bullish. Our money flow is in the red, but it is trying to come up and curl up, so that is a positive sign. If it can continue that momentum, we may invalidate that 4 hour cross, and maybe the 4 hour will start to go into the green. So we'll kind of have to watch the next few candles. I know we've been saying that quite a bit, but we've been at pretty indecisive zone, and we don't really have many patterns. We had that triangle that took us slightly up, but nothing like a big major pattern forming yet. Over on graph, we've come down and retested our first support, it looks like. But we'll start over on the daily, like we usually do. So this green candle is a signal that we could get a run up, but we have this reversal arrow here right after. When you get those, you can get a run down. So I'd be very leery right now with that reversal flashing and us testing the support. Stochastic's somewhat starting to curl, RSI's starting to head down even though our stochastic has strength, money flow's coming sharply out, VWAP is heading down, and our momentum looks like it's about to start to curl. So overall, I'd say the daily looks pretty bearish on the graph, and if you haven't already taken any profits, I would suggest you do if you're in any kind of a trade. Over on the 4 hour, we're getting a red X here, which is a signal of manipulation. However, manipulation doesn't guarantee you going down, it just generally means you going down. Like here we got manipulation and we didn't really go down too far. We kind of went back up and then sideways because it got invalidated. So these X's aren't always like the end all be all. Don't just base everything on one signal. Stochastic's heading down, RSI's heading down, money flow looks like it's about to break bearish. VWAP is rejecting away from that neutral zone and heading down. So overall, I'd say the 4 hour looks pretty bearish as well. Over on the 2 hour here, we are bouncing along this support, which every time you hit a support or a resistance, it makes that zone weaker. So we're really weakening the zone here and not lifting off of it to give any relief at all. RSI is heading down. Stochastic tried to make a run up, but it's got a bearish cross and is about to head down. Our money flow is barely in the bullish zone here, and we could fall flat soon. Our VWAP is in the bearish zone very slightly, but it didn't really get that strong or that long of a breakout into the bullish zone last time either. You kind of been dropping away from the bullish zone pretty quick on graph lately. The 2 hours somewhat on the momentum is somewhat rounding away after getting that red dot, so that's one signal that could drag us lower too. So I'd be a little leery with all these bearish looking signals. Over on the 1 hour, money flow's trying to test bearish. I would watch if it breaks. If we manage to push off of this zone sometime soon, that would be positive for us. We do have that manipulation X, but we're not going anywhere from it right now. Stochastic's pretty tight right now. Looks like it is trying to head up and get a little bit of bullish momentum. So if that is able to happen, we could get a little bit of lift off here. RSI has gone pretty flat. VWAP is in the bearish zone. If we zoom in, it's pretty flat, gone dead for the last couple candles. Our momentum is heading down, so we're slightly bearish, but if we're able to get some, like a 2 or 3 green candles here, that could start to push us upwards. If we look at ankr for the daily, we are rejecting away from that high value area back to our point of control here. So we've pretty much just been ranging here for a while, just like everything else. Money flows rejecting away from the neutral zone. VWAP is heading down. Our momentum looks like it's about to curl. Stochastic's trying to make a bullish run up, and our RSI is somewhat pointing down here. So overall, I'd say we look pretty bearish. We are testing a pretty strong support spot here. If we lose it, next area is going to be that 0.32 area. And if we lose that, then we could go to this value area low down here. So if we look over at the 4 hour, our momentum is trying to curl after breaking bearish, so that's slightly positive. VWAP is kind of fighting this neutral zone. It looks like it could try to round away, so we're going to need that to pick up some slack here. Money flow is heading down, so that's concerning because our momentum and VWAP are trying to break bullish. If that money flow continues down, they might not be able to get that bullish break. Stochastic is heading up, but our RSI is losing ground because we've got no strength currently. So we're going to need that stochastic to keep moving up for that RSI to hold its ground. If we look over at the 2 hour, stochastic's pretty tight against each other. We could get a bearish cross here. Our money flow is trying to come up, momentum's trying to come up, and our RSI is pointing up, and our VWAP is trying to head up. So if we are able to invalidate a bearish cross on the stochastic, we might be able to actually snap up sometime soon, or relatively soon. I don't mean like by tomorrow we'll hit the moon. We are getting a little bit of a reversal arrow here, but on the 1 hour, I don't put too much weight on this market cipher signals. Stochastic's heading up, our RSI is trying to head up, our money flow is heading up, has a green dot, VWAP's heading up, and our money flow overall is trying to break that neutral zone. So we're going to want to watch for the money flow to break that neutral zone. It seems to be the theme of tonight is we're either getting close to breaking neutral or we're pushing against neutral from the bottom. So everything's really at a pivotal spot and we may see explosive moves soon. Over on XRP, we are still kind of rounding down. We might begin a bit more of a rounding pattern here again, so we could see some more downside if that does happen. RSI has gone pretty flat, stochastic's falling, but it could try to cross. Our money flow is trying to cross bullish, so over the next couple days we'll have to see if we can maintain some bullish momentum there. VWAP's pretty flat and rejecting away from that neutral zone. So overall, I'd say we're losing some ground here on XRP, but the stochastic and money flow could give us some hope. Over on the 4 hour, stochastic's starting to bend, RSI is starting to head down, VWAP's heading down, money flow is heading down, and our momentum looks like we could curl away. So the 4 hour is looking like that hope on the 1 hour may not happen, unless the lower time frames look like we're going to get money flow to pick up from here. Over on the 2 hour, we're getting a red dot on our momentum just after trying to test that neutral zone, so we could curl away and fall from here. Stochastic's got a bearish cross and is heading down, and our RSI is losing ground. Our VWAP is heading down as well. So overall, I'd say we're pretty bearish. We're kind of getting a rounding top look here, kind of like this, where we drop down a bit, and like this. Usually when you start to round, that's not a good sign. So we could lose some ground here. Over on the 1 hour, our money flow doesn't know where it wants to be. Stochastic looks like we could try to curl up. Our momentum is trying to curl up. Stochastic's trying to curl up as well. RSI is trying to curl up. Our VWAP's trying to curl up. So I'd say on the 1 hour, like ankr, if we can get a few green candles, that may set us up for some moves forward. But if we don't get those candles coming in, then we could lose this zone. So last but not least, for algo, don't know why it zoomed like that. We got a pretty big red candle. This is a tweezer top forming here, which is a bearish pattern that could bring us down. Stochastic's starting to curl, making a lower high. Our RSI is starting to point down. Momentum's starting to curl. VWAP's gone flat. And our money flow is in the bearish zone and somewhat gone flat, starting to curl down. So overall, we're looking pretty bearish on the daily. We look at the 4 hour, we have a red X appearing. Stochastic's heading down pretty strongly. RSI is losing ground. Momentum's in the bearish zone. Money flow's pretty flat. And our VWAP is heading downwards in the bearish zone. So overall on the 4 hour, we are losing some ground and not looking too good. Over at the 2 hour, our momentum is getting some signals that we might start to curl sometime in the next few candles. Stochastic's trying to curl. Money flow overall was coming down but has gone flat. If that can start to curl up, that would be a bullish sign for us. And our RSI is trying to point up. So we are getting some hope that we might be able to push off from here. We'll kind of have to see the next few candles. If we get some more green candles closing, then we may kind of move upwards. But this is a bit of an ascending channel. And ascending channels usually are bearish patterns. So if we don't get like a crazy break out of this range here, then we could fall down from it eventually. Stochastic's trying to head up. RSI is trying to head up. Our money flow is rejecting breaking bearish, trying to hold its ground. VWAP's trying to head up. Momentum's curling with a green dot that could confirm on the 1 hour. So the 1 hour is giving us a little bit of hope that we could push off. Much like everything else tonight, we're going to have to see if we can get a couple green candles in. If not, it's looking like we could start to lose some ground. So I'd be a little weary if we don't get some momentum in soon. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.